Hello, my name is Trevor, and I'm going for a bike ride. I'm more specifically running some errands, and I recently got this neat little phone mount system and figured I'd start filming my rides. So grab a snack, grab a bevy, come check it out, and watch me trudge through some snow. I'm sure in the title of this video it'll kind of hint at where we're at, but just to have it out there, we are in southeast Michigan, the suburbs of Detroit. More specifically, in this video you'll see Southfield, Royal Oak, Ferndale, Huntington Woods, just a few different small suburbs and cities and I think villages also that are in our area and that I commute through quite often. This route right here is a small townhouse community next to the apartment complex that me and my wife live in, and it is a direct route that I can get to my parents super easily without having to take the main giant road that's out in front of us. So I cut through here, I could probably say safely on the daily. So this will be something you'll see in my videos a lot. Maybe I'll leave it out sometimes though, but I'm always cutting through here, and coming up here is where the cars end and only pedestrians or cyclists can get through, but it does have an issue. That's not happening. So this little strip of the sidewalk literally has never been shoveled, and I'm not sure whose responsibility it is, as it's in between a park owned by the city and then the townhouse community there, so not sure who's responsible for that. I'm sure if you live in a snowy climate and commute by bike, you're familiar with this old maneuver here of kind of shimmying over the snow that piles up in the crosswalk area there. So normally this little route in between our apartment and then my parents' house, which is right around the corner up here, would take me about maybe 5-10 minutes at most on a non-snow covered day, but here in southeast Michigan we don't really believe in snow removal, I guess, unless it's a main artery road, and I guess people just don't exist and all that good stuff. The sidewalks especially, which is why you see me in the road here, which is not much better, but better. If I was on the sidewalk I'd have to walk through all this, and that's not as fun as riding your bike, although walking is fun. I hear a big argument always is, well, no one walks in the winter, so why would we need to remove the snow? But you go look at any sidewalk around here and it is just stomped down with footprints and bike trails and dog footprints, and people are walking on the sidewalks, so it's a bit of an outdated argument in my opinion. Now we find ourselves on Pierce Street, which is iconic in my head, but in most people's heads, I guess, is not iconic. I've grown up here and lived here my whole life, so it's just one of those streets that's a staple to me. I ride it fairly often, and it was recently repaved, if you can't tell, which makes for a very nice ride. So this kind of connects me to where I live and then to downtown Birmingham and where I work and all that. So sometimes when I'm leaving work I'll ride Pierce all the way back to our place, but I enjoy fresh pavement just as much as a car driver would, so we'll see about throwing some music over this and just kind of enjoying the scenery.
Don't call me now, I am in bed. I've sacrificed all chances for street cred. had time for 13 years, but you know this, I've said it before. There's a lot of things I said before, lots of things you kind of ignored and brushed it off. You always brushed it off. Pacing down the hallway stairs, mental notes of quick repairs to gaps in my story for tomorrow morning of why I was up at this hour. When I have children of my own, and when they have children of their own, I'll spit and spew of my dumbass high school endeavors with prideful tone. But when my free...
Here we are crossing the great and the notorious Woodward Avenue. I made some commentary about it in the original clip, but I don't know. We'll see it later, but there are bike lanes on Woodward further down towards Ferndale and Detroit. But I would love to see more bike lanes up on this area of Woodward where I live personally. So until then, it's really just for crossing for me. So this road I'm riding right here is called Normandy. Again, another pretty popular road that I ride, and actually I see quite a few cyclists out here riding. It's pretty much all neighborhood, and then there's a pretty big park coming up, and then there's a school coming up also. And there was recently something I saw on Facebook, I think, that some committee part of the city wants to raise the speed limit on the road from 25 to 30 or 35, I can't remember. And of course I had to do my civic duty and send them a extremely strongly worded email expressing my frustration and how just stupid of an idea it is. I mean, you're riding through here, you can see it's all residential. There are medians in the middle of the road for slow down drivers. There are these, I don't think they're technically bike lanes, but people treat them like bike lanes. And then here's the park also on your left-hand side. So I shared my 2 cents and my frustration about why it's even in consideration. And I did actually get an email back from someone on the committee that seemed to agree with me. And they explained to me that apparently in the state of Michigan, roads that see the average speed or something along those lines is what the speed limit needs to be. So I guess people are speeding on this road, so the solution is to raise the speed limit, which do what you will with that information, but I think it's stupid. Bumpy, 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 bumpy. Yeah, they even give us a little greenway here in parts. It actually sucks. Alright, at this point we have entered the glorious downtown Clawson. Not much to say. There's a few pretty great actually restaurants, sushi. Really no bike infrastructure at any sort. It's, I guess, walkable, but it's also a very small downtown. So here we are at our first stop. Clawson Shoe Service. Gotta tell the drivers to back up. Alright, and a quick pit stop at White Wolf Cafe, Japanese pastry. A little bathroom art for you. Had to take a quick pit stop, eat some stuff, use the bathroom obviously. And it is always great to walk out and see your bike is still there. At this point, I'm headed back down Main, and I am actually riding the entire stretch of Main Street from Clawson to Royal Oak to I guess it ends at Royal Oak, but I've actually never ridden the entire Main Street, and you'll see why later on. There is a bike lane in quotes here. I mean, a painted line isn't a bike lane. It's not infrastructure. At any point, any of these cars could have pretty easily swerved over and ended my existence, but not today, I guess. Today was my lucky day. It was a decent ride. The roads, obviously, Michigan's notorious for just bad roads, and that extends to the bike lanes also. So it's pretty bumpy. I don't enjoy riding it on my e-bike, but I have. It has smaller tires, but I can't complain. And you'll see later when I end up in downtown and where the imaginary bike lane actually disappears, and there are just bike route signs, which again is nice, but not really doing anything to protect anyone who would be riding a bike. So here we are making our way through the downtown Royal Oak. Our suggested bike lane is gone, and there are now just little painted guys in the streets and signs that say bike route and guess respect cyclists if you want to. Um, this one kind of upsets me actually because I think Royal Oak has a lot of potential to be a decent kind of bike friendly. It's somewhat pedestrian friendly also. I mean, there's sidewalks and all that good stuff, but it just has more potential. You have, what is this? I think 2 lanes going both ways, and we're in like what is downtown Royal Oak. This is where like the heart of the city is. This is where the people are supposed to be. So why are we taking up so much room for cars? I think maybe a simple 1 lane going each way and then a bike lane, and I don't think it needs any kind of public transportation. It's small and pretty easy to walk about and bike about, but this one bums me out because it has a lot of potential, and I think just the people in the city are very resistant to it because cars have existed for so long, and it's also right by Royal or Woodward Avenue, which I don't know. I think plays some sort of psychological effect into our transportation progression here in Michigan. So, anyways, I would never bike this if I was with someone, say my wife, because I mean, she wouldn't feel comfortable riding on the road like this. I felt okay. I mean, again, there's not much really here to protect me other than my own courage. And I guess 25 miles an hour is pretty decent and comfortable to bike along. I think that's what downtown is. Um, but yeah, I did the entire stretch of Main Street, and that was something new I did. I feel pretty good. I would probably do it again someday. 4 out of 10? 4 out of 10. Maybe three. 3 out of 10. Road work ahead. Sure hope it does. Oh god, oh god. So this was the first negative aspect of the ride, like truly negative. Main Street ends, and then you have 696, and then you have Woodward. And if you're doing anything besides driving a car, then it's a little difficult to navigate. It's not pleasant. Noise pollution, exhaust pollution, multiple lanes, fast-moving heavy objects, etc., etc. So I decided, instead of being a man, that I would hop on the sidewalk and get across that way. I've never actually crossed here as a pedestrian or as a cyclist, so it was a new experience. There was a lot of snow, as you can see, and no shoveling or plowing of any kind for sidewalks because people don't exist. Hi, Detroit Zoo. I miss the Detroit Zoo. So here's the first downside. By the time I was maybe halfway through this crosswalk, just walking, because I decided to get off my bike, the flashing hand for a pedestrian to cross had already started. So that's way too short. I mean, I'm a 6'2" dude with a decent pace, and if I'm only halfway through the crosswalk and it's already telling me to stop crossing, then that's too short. And then I'm stuck on the median. The median's full of snow. I'm pushing and questioning all my life decisions at this point on what I'm doing. I'm probably looking like a idiot in his yellow jacket pushing his bike through the snow. This was legitimately difficult. I was stranded on a little island with just traffic and cars zooming by me. I mean, this is the stuff that urbanists have nightmares about right here. And then it was at this point that my brain thought, well, I really don't want to push through the snow anymore. This isn't fun. I have to go to my left. So I wouldn't do this if I was with someone else. I wouldn't recommend anyone do this, but because of the snow and all that, I said, all right, I'm going to insert myself back into the flow of traffic. So from the crosswalk here, you'll see in a second when traffic clears, I hop on my bike and I put myself back into traffic. The flow of traffic, that is. I don't know if this is what the city planners had intended when they decided to build all this, but this is how, as a pedestrian, I decided to navigate it. And in a second here, we will end up in the Woodward bike lanes. And here we are entering on the world-renowned and famous and infamous Woodward bike lanes. These got put in, I believe, around 2023, like early spring 2023. And they have been controversial, they have been a hit, and they have been a miss, and everything in between. There's lots of news articles out there you can look for just to kind of learn more about them, because if you don't know, Woodward is a pretty historic road, and putting a bike lane on Woodward is pretty crazy. But I've never ridden this much of them. On this segment here, actually, the bike lane diverts off of Woodward and goes into alleyways behind the businesses, which I actually quite enjoyed. It was easy to navigate and find my way through, although not all the alleyways were plowed. But all in all, the bike lane is one of the better ones in our area. It's not perfect, but it does have physical barriers that you can see and lots of paint and stuff. I know when they were first installed, there was a whole issue of cars parking in them and all that stuff, but I mean, it's a new thing, so I can get why there's a bit of a learning curve to it for all parties involved. They're maintained pretty decently also, but here we are arriving at our next destination, the bike shop. New adjustable stem. Shouts out Ferndale Bike Shop. Now home. So on this segment here, we're heading back towards my neck of the woods by going up 9 Mile and some different neighborhoods that you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But once we get further up here, on the left-hand side, you'll see the actual 9 Mile bike lane, which again has physical barriers. It was the first protected bike lane I had ever actually ridden in, and it blew my mind. I really questioned why aren't these just standard practice everywhere. It's a bit of a bummer that south of me is kind of where the more progression has been happening as far as bike infrastructure goes. The areas that I'm commuting in, there's literally nothing. There's one protected bike lane I can think of, and it's not even one that I get to ride on the daily. I mean, my commute to work is just me and the road, me and the open road. But it's fun when I have an excuse to go south of me and kind of explore around a bit and get to ride these awesome things. And and get a fire lit under me to email city officials and ask why don't we have this in our area, because obviously there are people riding bikes around. It's not just me. I see lots of people, so hopefully I'll be able to document some of that improvement. Oh, you'll be alright. As you see here is a great example of a daily occurrence. That one's not as bad. At this point, we are back on my side of town here, and in future videos you will see lots of this section here, which I will delve into another day. But this is home. This is what I'm familiar with. It's not glorious, but it's something. Had to make a stop at my parents', and then I am on my way to Target actually right now to pick up some prescriptions and whatnot, but figured I would fill it in and share a little bit more of what my daily commute looks like. So that was just a little segment of it, just a sneak peek. And when there is snow, the bike rack is inaccessible, and sometimes there are even a pile of carts in there if I'm lucky. So we are left to lock up at the stop sign here. I don't like this maneuver here, but I do it time to time, where instead of taking the sidewalk up and crossing at the crosswalk, I just hop in the center lane and ride 100 feet up and back into our complex here. This is where our journey started today, and this is where it'll end. If you watch the entire thing, I appreciate you very, very much. This is something I've been looking forward to getting started, and it looks like this is the start. So if you have any suggestions, leave them down below, but I'm just going to keep filming my rides and making some commentary over them. Till next time, see ya.